tanks weighing 60 tons and traveling at 70 kilometers per hour, fighter jets that vanish from radar before you even realize they were there, aircraft carriers larger than most neighborhoods in your city. But ultimately, which countries dominate the military game today? Stick around until the end, because number 1 will surprise you less than number 5. Today, you'll see the 5 countries with the greatest military power in the world, based on the Global Firepower 2023 ranking, which takes into account troops, tanks, aircraft, and naval fleet. Let's get started. In 5th place is a country that many people wouldn't expect on this list, South Korea. Neighboring one of the most unpredictable dictatorships on the planet, South Korea was forced to build one of the most advanced armed forces in the world, and succeeded. The troops. There are 500,000 active military personnel, but the truly staggering number is that of reservists, 3.1 million people ready to be called up. That's almost the entire population of Los Angeles on standby. On the ground, the flagship tank is the K2 Black Panther, one of the most modern tanks in the world, with a 120mm cannon, a 1,500 horsepower engine, capable of reaching 70 km/h, and equipped with anti-missile systems. South Korea has approximately 2,500 tanks in total, in addition to 1,700 K9 Thunder self-propelled howitzers. In the air, more than 590 combat aircraft. The fleet includes F-35As, F-15K Slam Eagles, and KF-16s. And there's more. The country is developing the KF-21 Borami, a domestically manufactured 4.5th generation fighter jet with stealth capabilities. National pride. At sea, 155 ships, including 22 submarines, and Sejong the Great-class destroyers equipped with the Aegis system, one of the best naval air defense systems in the world. The summary? South Korea is small on the map, but gigantic on the battlefield. 4th, the world's largest democracy, India. What's impressive about India isn't just its size, it's the speed at which the country is modernizing. The most ironic thing is that India is doing this while simultaneously balancing tensions with 2 nuclear-armed countries, China to the north and Pakistan to the west. It's living between a rock and a hard place, literally. The troops, more than 1.4 million active military personnel and 960,000 trained reservists. It's the 2nd largest land force on the planet, behind only China. On the ground, India operates the domestically developed Arjun Mark II tank alongside the T-90S Bhishma, purchased from Russia. More than 4,600 tanks in total. It plays in a different league when it comes to ground forces. In the air, in 2016, India closed one of the most talked about contracts in military aviation, 36 French Rafale fighter jets. These are 4th generation aircraft with nuclear capability, long-range missiles and advanced electronic warfare. A significant upgrade for an air force that still operated Soviet aircraft. At sea, and here lies India's great leap. In September 2022, the INS Vikrant was commissioned, the first aircraft carrier built entirely in India. At 262 meters long, weighing 45,000 tons, and with capacity for dozens of aircraft, it was a historic milestone. And to equip it, India selected 26 more Rafale units in 2023, the naval version, the Rafale M. India is building a force for global projection. Keep an eye on this country. 3rd place, and rising fast, China. If there is one country that has grown the most militarily in recent decades, it is this one, and the numbers prove it. The troops, 2 million active military personnel and 510,000 reservists. The largest army in the world in terms of active military personnel. On the ground, modern Type 99A tanks with advanced composite armor and state-of-the-art fire control systems. More than 5,000 armored vehicles of different types make up the ground backbone. In the air, China has its own answer to the American F-22. The J-20 Mighty Dragon is a 5th generation stealth fighter, and in 2023, the number of J-20s in service surpassed the United States' 18 F-22s. More than 200 aircraft produced. That's industrial scale applied to cutting-edge technology. At sea, this is what most worries Western strategists. China currently operates 3 aircraft carriers, including the Fujian, the most modern, with an electromagnetic catapult system like the Americans. And it has the Type 055 destroyers, at 180 meters long and weighing over 12,000 tons. They are classified by the United States itself as cruisers. Such is their power. Currently, there are 10 units in service, armed with hypersonic anti-ship missiles. The Chinese Navy is already the largest in the world in terms of number of vessels. Beijing's stated goal is to be the world's leading military power by 2049. Second place, Russia. Heir to the Soviet arsenal, Russia is still one of the most feared military forces in the world, especially for its nuclear capabilities. Forget the old data. To sustain the conflict with Ukraine, the country has brutally expanded its forces. Active troops have jumped to over 1.3 million soldiers, with a massive reserve that now reaches 2 million men, reflecting a fully mobilized and fully operational industrial sector. On the ground, the flagship tank today is the T-90M Proryev, a modernized version with a new cannon, relict reactive armor, and advanced digital systems. It is the tank that is actually being used in combat. The T-14 Armata, promised as the future of Russian armor, exists in fewer than 20 prototype units and has practically not progressed beyond the drawing board on a large scale, high cost and stalled production. In the air, the Russian air backbone consists of Su-30, Su-34 and Su-35 fighter jets, highly capable and combat-tested fourth-generation platforms. The Su-57 Felon is Russia's fifth-generation stealth fighter, but Russia operates fewer than 100 units, far below Western F-35 numbers. At sea, Russia still operates the only aircraft carrier outside the US-China-India axis on a significant scale, the Admiral Kuznetsov. But the real Russian naval asset is its nuclear submarines, especially those of the Bore class, armed with intercontinental ballistic missiles. And there's a factor that no ranking fully captures. Russia possesses the world's largest nuclear arsenal, with approximately 6,000 warheads. This changes any strategic equation. And we've reached number 1, the United States. It's no surprise, but the numbers are still impressive. Troops, 1.4 million active military personnel, present in more than 750 bases around the world. No other country has this global reach. On the ground, the M1A2 Abrams is one of the most combat-tested and lethal tanks in modern history, over 6,000 units. But American ground dominance goes far beyond tanks. Artillery systems like the M270 MLRS, attack drones, and the world's largest fleet of military helicopters, more than 5,900 aircraft, including 1,024 Apache attack helicopters. In the air, this is where the US stands out from the rest of the world. There are over 1,791 fighter jets, 1,024 attack helicopters, and a total fleet of 13,000 military aircraft. Highlights include the F-35 Lightning II, the most produced stealth fighter in history, with hundreds already in service and over 1,400 additional units on order. The F-22 Raptor, still considered the best air superiority fighter in the world. And the B-2 Spirit and B-52 strategic bombers, capable of nuclear strikes from American soil. At sea, 11 nuclear-powered aircraft carriers in service, while the rest of the world combined has fewer than 10. Each one is a floating city with up to 90 aircraft on board. In addition, there are 70 submarines, including the Ohio-class submarines, which alone carry 51% of the entire American nuclear arsenal. The US spends more than $850 billion a year on defense, more than the next 10 countries combined. It is the only country in the world capable of projecting military force anywhere on the globe simultaneously, on land, sea and air. So, this was the top 5 of world military power in 2023. To recap, 5th, South Korea, cutting-edge technology and high readiness. 4th, India, giant in accelerated modernization. 3rd, China, industrial scale plus growing naval projection. 2nd, Russia, nuclear arsenal and combat experience. 1st, United States, unparalleled global projection. A question for you in the comments. In your opinion, which of these countries will change position in the next 10 years? Place your bet below. If this video surprised you with any information, leave a like. It really helps the channel. Subscribe so you don't miss the next ones. See you next time.